Hello. Hey, Jerry. Hey, Jamie. How are you guys?
Good.
Hey,
Hey, Lauren.
good. How are
How
you?
are you?
Good. Feeling magical and excited for our second live broadcast. This is so exciting.
Whoop, whoop. Watch out.
Yes. Jamie, I love the stitch behind you.
Thank you
That's
so
my
much.
favorite, I think, of the 50th statues.
Nice.
That is one of the better ones. I also like the Figment, and I also like is it Pumbaa and Timon? I think was another really good one.
Hey, Dan and Nicole.
I'm
how
glad
are
they
you
left
guys?
them.
Yeah, that is
decided to
good that
leave
they
them
left
for a
them.
little longer, so that was nice.
Yeah. They might end up being permanent, at least for a while. I don't think they're going to take them out for a while.
Yeah,
they're
I
good
think
photo
it's easier
spots.
for them to keep them up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, hey everyone who's tuning in. We are currently broadcasting live to our Facebook and YouTube channels. Go ahead and leave a comment, introduce yourself to say hi, let us know where you're tuning in from, and we will be talking all things DVC this evening. We received some questions from everybody in terms of how does DVC work? What are your favorite dining spots at the different DVC resorts? So tonight's going to be laid back. We're going to be answering some of the questions you've submitted and any questions that you leave for us throughout the live broadcast. So don't be afraid to leave a comment. We are friendly and ready to chat with you guys. Leonard's tuning in from Ontario, Canada.
Oh, hello, Leonard.
Hi, Leonard.
How are you?
Probably colder than us.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah. 82 degrees today, so it was a nice day. Beautiful.
We have no complaints.
Yeah.
Hey, Debbie. I'm also from New Jersey. Jerry and Jamie are in Florida.
Yeah.
So for anyone who's just tuning in, just to reset the broadcast here, I am Lauren. I work with DVC Store to handle their social media and communication strategies. And tonight we'll be doing our second live broadcast.
Yeah, and I am Jerry from the Timeshare Store. I'm the sales manager, office manager. Been doing Disney Vacation Club for going on 24 years. I own at the Boardwalk in Old Key West. I've stayed at pretty much every resort. There's two that I need to get to, but otherwise, but yeah, absolutely love DVC and look forward to helping you guys with any questions or details or whatever you need.
And I'm Jamie, sales associate, and coming up on 21 years with the Timeshare Store this July. And I own at Boulder Ridge. I've been a member since 2007 that bought resale. And yeah, so here we are, and we're ready to answer some questions and maybe throw some fun facts at you.
Well, we have a lot of people tuning in from both YouTube and Facebook. Sammy's tuning in from Iowa. Michelle is in Virginia.
Welcome,
Very
everybody.
nice.
Yeah, yes. Welcome.
And let us know how you found this live broadcast tonight. You can leave a comment. Did you come here from an email? Do you follow us on social media? Did a friend send you the broadcast? Let us know. That's really helpful for us as we plan these live events. All right. What do you say we kick things off and get started?
Right. Absolutely.
So like I said, here's a little bit about what you can expect from tonight's chat. We'll introduce ourselves a bit and talk about what we love about DVC. We'll catch you up to speed on some DVC updates as things change, new developments, all very exciting. And like I said, we'll be doing a bit of a Q&A. We posted on our social channels asking what questions you want to see us answer live. So we'll be answering those for you. And we'll let you know where you can keep the conversation going with us. If you haven't yet already, we have a Facebook group that you can join. I will drop a link to that in the chat. So after the event tonight, you can introduce yourselves there, connect with some other members, and keep the conversation going. So for the next hour or so, this is what you can expect.
Okay. I guess I'm going to do the quick intro for myself. It's me again. I'm Jerry. I love Disney. I've been a Disney fan my entire life. I mean, my parents have brought me to Disney ever since I was as long as I can remember. I was a tiny baby and just have been coming year after year up until I was 14. Then we moved to Orlando. So I absolutely love Disney. I found a way to get involved with Disney multiple ways. I used to work on the Jungle Cruise. I don't know if you can see that, but I still hold homage to that. And then I've done a couple different things with Disney, but once I knew Disney Vacation Club existed, my career path was kind of going in a real estate direction. I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I did whatever I could to focus and learn as much as I could. And then had the opportunity to come work for the timeshare store. And that was back in 2000, the year 2000. So going in 24 years now. Love it. I've helped thousands of members purchase. I own myself. I've thoroughly enjoyed my membership. I've been a member since 2003. I might have already said that, but anyway, I just look forward to helping anybody who calls. I mean, I treat all my clients like they're my friends. And I feel that way. I really, truly want to help whoever has questions, because, this is uncharted territory for people. They don't know what resale is. They don't know what Disney Vacation Club is, or at least they want more information. So anyway, if you ever need us, I'm happy to help, and glad you're watching.
Well, it's hard to follow that up. So I'm Jamie. I'm the middle picture. That's a perfect representation of what all the fun we'll have when we work together. So no, but seriously. So I've been with the timeshare store since 2003. It's coming up on my 21st year with the company. I was born and raised in Orlando, so I've been here my entire life. Worked at Disney for a short stint, as most people who live in Orlando their whole life do. Been going to Disney my entire life as well. Have an absolute love for it. Like Jerry, came into it a little bit differently. Started as administrative assistant for the store, and then had the ability to become a sales associate. So I love it. I would say my passion with helping people also falls with buying and selling, but our company does rentals as well. And I have a huge passion for rentals, helping people find the reservation that they want, helping them plan that vacation if you're not quite yet ready to move into the purchasing portion of it, or you're already a member and you just need some additional points. So I own at Boulder Ridge. I bought in 2007 through our company. That is still one of my favorite DVC resorts, even with everything that's opened since. Still one of my top resorts. So
again, one thing Jamie didn't mention, and I don't mean her mom was an original DVC guide. That is so cool. Like the first of the first people that ever sold DVC. She didn't mention it, but I have to share it. I think that's so great. Well,
my mom is in here, I believe, so she can. I believe she's joined us for this live. Jerry presented the hype on the first live. So yes, that is something that's very special to me. I probably don't share it as often as I should, but yep, my mom was one of the original guides, absolutely,
the OG,
and she was, and I got to see the resorts, Old Key West from inception, from inception, Beach Club from inception. And stay at those resorts. So there's a long lineage with the family. So it was a very natural fit for me when the opportunity came up. I had already been around it for most of my life. So your mom, if you're here, hi mom. You're an OG mom.
That's right.
Yes, OG, original guide.
Yeah.
I love it.
I might have been going with like gangster, but whatever, it's close.
Yes.
Whatever one she wants to go with, I'll give it to her, or both.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're getting a lot of comments. We will address those. So just to let everybody know, we will make sure you get all your questions answered. Just to quickly introduce myself, my name is Lauren. I'm located in New Jersey. I did a college program at Walt Disney World in 2019. For 6 months, I was fortunate to work in the different resorts as a front desk concierge cast member. I worked in some DVC resorts, some not. It was a beautiful experience. It was a lot of fun. My family is a DVC family, so I'm blessed to call Boardwalk home. I told Jerry when we first connected, I'm a DVC baby. It is what it is, and I am really blessed to be able to enjoy that. One of my favorite resorts, like Jerry, is definitely the Polynesian. And this past summer, I stayed in Boulder Ridge, which I had a lot of fun at. And I look forward to exploring more of everything that's to come with DVC. So, really happy to be here with you guys. If anyone has Disney College Program questions, DCP, another acronym to throw at you, I'm always happy to chat that too. So, thank you for letting me join.
There are so many Disney acronyms. I sometimes I'm like, I don't even know what that means, and I have to like go Google it or ask somebody because I'm like, there's so many.
Oh, there
Jamie,
we go.
your mom is here.
I told you she was.
OG is in the house.
She is. She is.
Okay, so some DVC updates that we will walk through with you guys. We've already got a question on YouTube in regards to the Boardwalk Villas refurbishment. Have standard view reservations in early April? Is there a Murphy bed shortage? Blue ribbon corn dogs update. There is so much going on in this question. I love it, Michelle. We will definitely update you on this refurb. We have some pictures to show you too.
Yeah, and the Fort Wilderness Cabin bookings, we have some information, dates on those. We were kind of reading through them a little bit earlier, and there's a little confusion on certain dates, but we have them and we can share them with you. So if you are looking to book at Fort Wilderness, we will share that as part of this live broadcast.
There was a recent perk that came out, I'd say within the past 4 to 5 days. If you're staying on property in 2025, and you're a guest at a Walt Disney World resort, you can visit either of the water parks, depending on which is open, on your check-in day. We posted about this on our Instagram story, so I'm curious. Let us know in the comments if you think this is something you would take advantage of, to visit either Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach on your check-in day. Let us know what you think of that perk. I think it's a nice way to give families something to do. Go down Summit Plummet, hit up the slides, Lazy River, Typhoon Lagoon, tongue twister. So let us know what you guys think. Do you think you take advantage of that water park perk? Jerry, Jamie, are you guys water park people?
I'm team Lazy River all the way. Like Summit Plummet can keep it. I'm team Lazy River all the way, man. That's like I do like the rides. I did have annual passes at one point not too long ago to the water park, so I love the ability to just throw the raft in and float around. Like there's nothing closer to being on vacation when you still have to come home and work the next day. I feel like it really puts you in that vacation mindset, even if it's just for a few hours.
But like Typhoon Lagoon is like completely a tropical oasis. So if Disney's going to give me a free ticket to go to the water parks, I 100% am going to take advantage of that. Anything Disney's going to give me, I'm like, oh, I'll take it. Why not?
Yeah, I think that's. I think it's an amazing.
She would love to see it on checkout day.
Yeah.
Which I agree. When I first read it, I thought it was either check-in or checkout day. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe they will listen to guest feedback and change that.
Yeah. And then
water parks, they take advantage of it. Seems positively received.
Yeah, I think anytime you can get something without having to jump through a lot for nothing, but also without having to jump through a lot of hoops. And there may be some logistical reason for them doing that, as far as getting rooms ready and not, people spacing out people checking in. So there may be some logistical things that we don't know about, but why not? Like it's free, it's for me. That's why we love Melissa. But yeah, I mean, I think anytime you offer something like that, even if you're not able to time it and take advantage of it, I just think it's a nicety that it's nice to see them looping back to some of the niceties with DVC, with Walt Disney. I mean, I've done the Christmas party, Mickey's Christmas party every year for the last 23 years, I believe, except for 2020 when they didn't do it. And it's really nice to see that they're bringing back a lot of the niceties, like the ornaments and the staged pictures and things like that. So to me, it's just a step in the right direction that they're bringing back some of those niceties that had gone away.
I totally agree. I feel like Disney was take, and now if they're starting to give back, that's so good. That's so good. That's what people want. So I totally agree.
Agree with what both of you guys said. And one of the last updates here, and I'm also interested to hear if anybody has seen this yet at Disney Springs, but there's a new DVC Welcome Center. It's called the Gateway to Discovery, and I am not in Florida, sadly, so I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's over by Guest Relations. I believe it's in the location that Alex and Ani used to be at, and it seems like it's going to be a place that you can get more information, maybe see some pictures, chat with a guide. But they also dropped on Instagram that there might be a member lounge. Not sure, so a little more details to come. It was very ambiguous. We were chatting about it before we went live here, but like Jamie said, maybe, it's another nice city. We'll see. So if you're in Disney Springs or if you've seen it, let us know. I'd be interested to get some feedback on what's going on there.
And I feel like Disney Springs almost is a gigantic, I don't want to call it member lounge, but just a place to lounge. Like there's so many nice restaurants, dining options, bars, places to listen to music. I mean, if there's a member lounge there, that's great. Maybe it's a little less crowded for that reason, but otherwise, I feel like you can go listen to some live music and have a cocktail and still have a great time, even if there's no member lounge that they put in. So yeah, just plugging the fun of Disney Springs. I love that place.
Yep. To go to.
Agreed. I feel like it's a really underrated part of a Walt Disney World vacation. Forget the shopping, everything else that you said, Jerry, the dining, the live entertainment.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Starbucks gal, but I have to say the Starbucks there overlooking the hot air balloon launch pad, it is so serene. And you have Saratoga Springs in the background, the amphicars are on the water. It's like you said, it is like, an additional bit of a member lounge, and something that I don't think a lot of people take the time to pause. Even if you don't go to World of Disney and go crazy, just to walk around and check it out. There's a lot happening at this point.
I feel like it's the free Disney theme park. I mean, I get it. It's like Epcot. You just tons of things to see, walk around, do, shop, drink, go have lunch, whatever. Listen to music. It's kind of like I can come here and not have to pay, unless you participate in all the things I just mentioned, dining and drinking and so forth. But you don't have to pay to get in. And it's beautiful. Like it's secure, it's beautiful, it's elegant, it's whatever. Disney Springs is fantastic.
They also have some stores. I mean, Lauren touched a little on the shopping. So my husband and I love Uniqlo, and there's no other Uniqlo that you can go to in this area. So like there's some stores that they're exclusively yeah, I do too, Scott. Or Marketplace. If you're really old and want to date yourself, you call it Marketplace. That's before
I call
Lawrence
it Pleasure Island.
But okay, well, that's
I'm
a
like,
whole nother
there's
story
mannequins and there's A-Tracks. No.
And there's the roller skate beach club. Yes, we're really dating ourselves, Jerry, but we're really. But Lauren's like, what are you talking about? But like, there's some stores that I feel like we go out there just like not just for that, but if we're, that's a driver, like we're going to go to Uniqlo and then we're going to go listen to the music and then we're going to go, and you like anniversaries, birthdays, like we've gone to Disney, we've made our whole evening Disney Springs because there is enough to do. And that, I think, getting into a whole other side subject, but that launches that the popularity, the opinion of Saratoga Springs changed ever so greatly once Disney Springs was in existence, which is Jerry called it long before it happened. 8-track, exactly. Adventurers Club. Oh yeah, that was not one of
those things were great.
That was mannequins.
Mannequins, yeah. It didn't line up with Disney's.
The floor.
It was a little. I don't know. It was great for adults, but it didn't match up with what Disney was, I guess, all about. So I see why they got rid of it.
Overall,
Disney Springs.
No, it's been an amazing expansion. I mean, but I feel like Saratoga got a bad rap for a long time, and we were all saying, listen, when they develop Disney Springs, you're going to want to be there. I can't tell you how many times I've walked back from Disney Springs to Saratoga, and I still think Saratoga. But again, that's a subject for another live. But I think it's very underrated. If you tie the two in, it's a vacation in itself. So
yeah.
Sometimes I think of like having a short stay excuse me, at Saratoga and just enjoying the pools, hanging out there, and then popping over to Disney Springs. And it was funny, you know, you guys were talking about mannequins, all these, you know, how I used to be popping off at Disney Springs. I do have a little FOMO. I was over at the Neverland Club at the Polynesian while all this was happening. Kids Club. It was funny. I was in a different group today. It was a Polynesian Facebook group, and they were talking about the Neverland Club, and I was like, oh my gosh, bringing me back. So yeah, different things come and go, as Disney is, but that's where I was at when.
They like to keep it fresh.
Well,
you know,
you missed 8 tracks and the roller skating club. So
I was fist pumping at the Neverland Club.
right, exactly.
Yes, something like that. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, this could definitely be its own discussion. If you guys have questions about Disney Springs, or if you are well versed and you have like a dining recommendation, or you just want to share your experience, you can join our Facebook group. We had a comment here. My dad actually was talking about the Irish pub with the live music and the dancing. Also an awesome experience for live music.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
It's evading me as well. Do you guys know what it's called?
The Irish pub?
I do, and
yes.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Oh man. My friends are gonna kill
All
me.
right, first person to answer.
You put me in a blank. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Oh my god.
I'm Googling it.
And I've been there 1,000 times.
Raglan Road.
Yes, Raglan Road. That's it.
Raglan Road. There
Jeez,
you go.
Peeps. That's embarrassing. I should have.
They even have a really nice patio that has just like an acoustic set with music, and then inside they do the traditional. John, where were you 2 minutes ago? I needed you. He popped up Raglan Road. Where were you, John, 2 minutes ago with your answer?
He was on the spot. He was like, "I got this."
He does, but like then you have the traditional dancing inside, so they're almost like 2 different experiences. So that's a very cool. I mean, there's something. Oh yeah, the Edison is also another great place.
That's like you get transported back in time to like 1920s, you know, like the old flapper kind of vibe and the swinger kind of, not that kind of swinger, but swinger music.
I love the story though of the Edison.
For everyone. There's something for everyone.
What are the companion restaurants with the Edison? And Maria and Enzo's. Yeah. There's like a story about how they start at, and Jason, correct me if I'm wrong because you were there more recently, but there's a story about Maria and Enzo. That's the last part where it's like the couple created their restaurant. And then I think the Edison is the one that's kind of like, there's like airplane motifs where like that was when they were on their honeymoon. And I think there's one other component to the Maria and
Hangar
Enzo's.
Bar is
the Hangar Bar is right? That's
was it Pacifico 36 or something? That's not Thai food, is it?
The secret bar,
the
I think,
Hideaway
is
that Melissa mentioned. So
Enzo's
we had an
Hideaway.
anniversary dinner at the Hideaway.
Oh, that's right.
Hideaway is a completely different experience than Maria and Enzo's. We had an anniversary dinner there, and it's basically like 6-foot tables. It's very intimate. It's almost like you're underground. It's really a totally it's a complete.
You're under STK.
There's a
You're staying under STK. Yep.
Okay.
There's just so much going.
There's a pathway. There is. You can spend the whole day there and not do everything, really.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, keep the comments coming. I really appreciate everybody engaging. Thank you for refreshing our memories on Raglan Road. It was evading me. I'm glad we figured out the name there. So let's head over to this news on the Boardwalk Villas refurbishment. Jerry, take it away on this long-awaited refurbishment. I am so excited for this, and thank you for these awesome pictures.
Yeah, so I mean, I honestly was kind of surprised. I knew it was under refurb, and I saw a lot of honestly negative comments coming in from Boardwalk reviews. People saying, "Oh, I'm not happy with the way it looks. I feel like they ruined it." You know, whatever. I was like, "Wow, that's interesting." So my wife and I and kids, we booked a room and got a 1-bedroom villa, and it's still under refurb. So one side of the building is still under kind of refurb construction. The other side, the Boardwalk side, it seems to be all completed, or at least the majority of it. So anyway, we walked in. It's got a fresh, clean look. I mean, everything just looks so elegant, so nice. No like tacky tiles on the bathroom walls, various colors. And, the color scheme just looked like it flowed. There's, I mean, looking at the pictures that are on the screen, you've got kind of like a pastel style, and it's very soft with a lot of Disney kind of animation artwork. So there's no like physical pictures of things. It's more just Disney animated type art. And personally, I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it was classy. I thought it was classic. It's kind of, it seems like a little turn of the century style design of the characters. So you've got, I don't know, an elegance to it that just, to me, made it look sweet. I was like, this is nice. It looks beautiful. I don't know what people are talking about. But everybody has their own opinion on style, and my particular taste, I thought it was great. I really did like it. The flooring, very similar to Saratoga Springs. I think they're going with that kind of, that whatever it is, the very durable style wood planks, but they're not wood. There might be a heavy duty type vinyl, but it looks like wood. The room that I was in actually had a beige couch. It did not have the Murphy bed that you see in the picture here. The Murphy, I was walking past a room and I knew they had Murphys, and I heard they had some couches. So I asked if I could go in. Nobody was in the room. The maid was refreshing the room. So I just said, meaning nobody was in that room. There was no occupants or no luggage. Nobody was in there. So she's like, yeah, you can take a picture. So I went and just took a picture of the Murphy bed. Again, I prefer the Murphy. The couch that we had was perfectly fine. I actually slept on it because my 2 kids and wife slept in the master bedroom. But it's a beige couch. So I think that couch it's got to go. I don't think it's going to be permanent. I hate to say this, but we had pizza, and a piece of oil dripped off the pizza onto the couch. I was like, oh my gosh! So I started cleaning and scrubbing, and there's no way that beige couch is going to last. It's just not going to happen. So it's going to get changed over to the Murphys, I think, across the board, and it would be a much more comfortable bed to sleep on, the Murphy versus the pull-out sofa.
They're looking for you now, Jerry. You just admitted.
Uh-oh. What did I say? I know, right? They're like, you ruined the couch.
And then he flipped the cushion.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
I felt that way about Riviera the first time I saw it. I was like, it's absolutely stunning, but this is not going to last with children and people checking in 360 days a year or whatever. It's just not, I mean, it's beautiful, but it's not realistic.
Yeah. So answering the question about the Murphys to the couch, I do think the supply chain must have been limited. They probably put something nice in that room to just keep the flow of the room and the elegance there. But I just can't see that staying. It's got to be replaced. And the Murphy is much more durable material. The couch was like a really soft cloth. It was very comfortable to sit on. But again, the Murphy, a much more durable, long-lasting option for that room. So I just think it was perhaps a supply issue. I cannot see that staying for long, permanently.
So Jerry, I'm going to ask you a quick question just to clarify for anyone else who might be wondering. That couch is a pull-out couch, queen bed.
Queen size, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Obviously not the Murphy drop-down queen size. So yes, the traditional pain in the back couch.
Metal.
There's like a bar in the back. I had that experience in a 1-bedroom at Jumbo House. I mean, the Murphy bed, just the way that it is, it's a flat mattress, obviously a lot more comfortable. So if anyone is visiting the boardwalk anytime soon, join our group. Let us know what your experience is. We'll do a little investigative work on how many people are getting the Murphy bed and how many people have the couch. So I'm really excited by the refurb. I'm surprised that there's carpet in the bedroom.
Yeah, it's a durable kind of like, I forgot the term, but it's like one of those really tightly knit carpets. So it's going to be pretty durable. And it's also like a pattern. So if you spill something on it, it's going to blend. You're not going to really see a lot of stains or I doubt it. I mean, it's a very tightly woven carpet plus the pattern. I did see Tim's comment that said that, the refurb might have lost some of the whimsical. I think some of the whimsical comes from the cartoon animated art. You're getting some of that like whimsical art. It's not, again, it's not hyper realism or any of the art that we're traditionally used to. So I just think the art gives it still that whimsical feel. I mean, it's just clean, it's polished, it's modern. The kitchen looks good. I mean, new appliances, everything just looks better, just more updated,
Yeah, I can appreciate new and clean and updated always. I mean, theming is a whole other component, like you said, based on preference. But I do feel that these rooms really needed a refurb. I stayed in a 1 bedroom actually this time last year. Disney's rooms are always impeccably clean. That's never a question I ever have. It's sometimes it just says wear and tear, and I'm ready for something fresh. So I'm looking forward to it.
And pro tip from Jerry: put the kids on the floor to eat pizza because it's carpet.
Yeah, that was
he already told you, no stains don't show, which means he knows. So don't put the kids on the floor.
We just flipped the cushions around, and we were like, uh-oh. But yeah, we tried to clean it. Anyway, yeah, definitely a good pro tip. Yeah, definitely recommend kids don't eat on the couch if you have a room couch.
I love it. All right, so from here, we're going to shift into a bit of a Q&A with some questions that we received ahead of time on our social media when we asked what questions you have and you want to see us answer live. So Matt had asked us on Instagram, what are your top resort dining spots outside of the parks? And I love this question. I love to go to different dining spots, whether it's at a lounge and bar area for some appetizers or a full meal. I think there's really something for everybody. We kind of pulled together some of our favorites here. One of my top picks as of, I'd say, the past 2 years is Citricos after it had the refurbishment itself with a bit of Mary Poppins theming. I have a picture here in the bottom left. That was a drink that I had. I love that lounge area. If you're a solo traveler or if you're just a party of 2 or a small group and you want something a little more relaxed, you can get comfortable in those chairs in the lounge at Citricos. I will pass it off to Jamie. I know that one of her favorites, she said, was Sanaa, and I threw in a picture here of the awesome, iconic bread service.
Absolutely. So, I think dining at Disney is, its own category as far as some people go to Disney for the rides, some people go to, Disney for different things. But I think dining can really hold its own with Disney. And, I'm not going to say I've eaten everywhere or everything because I'm not even close. But if I had to narrow it to 3, which is kind of what Lauren had asked us to narrow it to 3, for me, it's going to be Sanaa at Kidani. The bread service is phenomenal. Secondary for me would be Kona Cafe at Polynesian. And I would say third for me would be Grand Floridian Cafe at Grand Floridian. I think that's highly underrated. I think it's one that doesn't get enough attention. The service is impeccable. It's really beautiful room that you're dining in. There's never that kind of rush feeling when I go there. I would say that it was tough to pick 3, but if I was going to have one other, another sleeper, I think would be Trails End at Fort Wilderness.
Now, Jamie,
clearly, I love fine dining.
The Trails End before the refurb or now, as it is now?
I haven't been since the refurb, no.
Okay, because that's a hot topic of discussion in the Fort Wilderness community. People are definitely up in arms over this change. I haven't seen it since the refurb. If anyone has, let us know your thoughts, because I loved Trails End too, Jamie. I really, really enjoyed it there. It's quick service.
I think it's one of those places, like a former coworker of mine told me about it, and he was he just loved Disney more than anyone I've ever known. And he's like, you have to go there. And I was like, it's like hoop-de-doo without the entertainment. And again, I haven't been since the refurb, and all of mine were a little bit more casual. But I think that I like to go for sleepers. Always go for the crowd favorite. And I feel like Grand Floridian Cafe and Trails End are kind of sleepers. A lot of people just don't necessarily bring those up on the topic of food. So that's the kind of things I like, are things that aren't the most common. There's a million more, but I had to narrow it down. And Jerry's got a million, so he'll let you know. And none of ours were the same, surprisingly.
Yeah, that was good. They're all different. And that's the great thing about Disney is every restaurant has something unique to offer, and the themes are different, and the food quality and the food itself is different. So, yeah, I mean, I have a long list, but I'll just try and pick my top restaurants. I mean, if you have an unlimited budget and you really want to just try something that's different than that you probably have ever had, Victoria & Albert's is by far just one of those experiences that you will remember for the rest of your life. It is a core memory that you will just be like, wow. I mean, it's that good. I mean, it's very opulent, very fancy, very different from what most people probably will ever experience. Or if you have, I've done it once and it was so good. I was like, I love it, but I can't afford to go there all the, I think one and done, but it left a core memory. Best food. The only other restaurant I think is that would compare is Tao in New York City. I had sea bass that I still can't get out of my head. It was unbelievable. But those two restaurants, Tao and Victoria & Albert's, probably my top two restaurants of all time. And I've gone to some nice restaurants in my life. California Grill is amazing, another fancy one. So if you haven't experienced that, it's wonderful. If you're just going for some casual dining, this is a debatable one. Viva La Napoli or is at Epcot for pizza I love it. I think the pizza there is great. They fly in their water and their flour to make the dough. I mean, it's amazing. So if you're into pizza, I think they hold up. And again, that's very controversial. Some people will say I'm crazy, but I definitely think it's wonderful. Boathouse, Ohana's, the Hoop-de-Doo Review. I mean, it's like a hoedown. I mean, it's such a great, fun experience for kids, for everybody. Olga's Cantina, it's not really a place to eat. I wouldn't eat there, actually. I would just go for the ambiance, have a drink. I could go on and on. All the restaurants Disney offers, not all of them are spectacular, but there are some fantastic options. And, if you buy DVC and you come back regularly, you get to experience those. I mean, you get to try different things and kind of create your own list. So anyway, I have tons of them. I'm not going to ramble too much longer, but anyway, those are mine.
We went from the most expensive on property, Victoria & Albert's, to the least expensive at Trails Inn. So we really covered the whole gamut of everything.
Well, if you're over at Wilderness Lodge, Geyser Point is no joke. That ambiance on the water, that bison buffalo burger, I mean, that is so good. They've got like a I know it sounds gross, but like a jelly onion kind of topping that goes. I know it sounds gross.
It's not so gross good. At all. The bison burgers are amazing.
It's so good. Yeah.
And we did on our Instagram, for anyone who's tuning in, if you want to see the bison burger live in action, we did a reel series at the Wilderness Lodge this past summer, so you can see that beautiful, gorgeous scenery in a reel over on our Instagram. So. Also did a Hoop-de-Doo one as well. And like Jerry said, it is a hoedown, throwdown. There is something for everybody there. It is a hidden gem. It is a dinner show. It is the longest running dinner show, not only on Walt Disney World property, but I think in the state of Florida. Don't quote me on that. It has an accolade in the realm of dinner shows. It used to be that and the Luau over at the Polynesian. That is no more, so Hoop-de-Doo reigns in that spot there. So,
and that is the same food. That's the same food as Trails Inn.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they share a kitchen.
They share a kitchen. They do, yeah.
Yeah.
The uproar now about Trails End, and I'm in a few Fort Wilderness Facebook groups. I believe it is like a quick service now, and people loved that experience, Jamie, where I believe it was all you care to enjoy. I think it was a buffet style. So. Yeah, it's a bummer. Who knows? Maybe they'll listen to guest feedback and bring back what everybody likes.
Bring back the fried chicken, the mac and cheese. It's not anywhere you go if you're eating well. But I mean, you're eating well, but you're not eating healthy. You got to do it. Everybody's got to try it.
I'm getting hungry. Everyone's getting hungry in the comments. Love Geyser Point. Hoop-de-Doo is fun. Is so funny. And from a New Jerseyan, I mean, pizza capital of the world.
And like Jerry said, if you have children, like when you go to Hoop-de-Doo, I feel like dinner time can be really hard at Disney for people with kids. Like they're tired, they've been at the parks, or you've dragged them around, and they've been entertained all day, and now you're trying to get them to sit still and eat dinner, and they're hot and they're tired. And it's like anytime I've been there with people with children or watched the children, they're so engaged, and they bring them into the
mesmerized
show, and they're like, you don't see an unhappy face in there. And I feel like it's just a good option when parents might need okay, I just need to eat. My kids are tired, and it's like entertainment. So I think there's several avenues there that it ticks a lot of boxes. Plus, it's just really funny, and it's a really good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was when, after COVID and it was closed for a while, I found it was a bit challenging to get a reservation, and I was just a party of two. And honestly, they don't want you to sit down there. Like you had said, Jamie, people with kids, trying to get them to sit, they don't want you to sit down. And I think your mom even here saying she was a saloon girl on stage when you were 3.
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
There's a
They want
picture
everybody
somewhere. I
up
might have
now.
to dig that. I may have to dig that out and dust it off. But yes,
Oh,
yes.
man.
I've been
That's
going there
awesome.
for a long time. I think that's a lot of it too with anything Disney is reliving those memories, but also creating new ones. But I just feel like I always feel for people when they've been at the park all day and you see them with kids and they're trying to wrangle the kids and get them to sit still, and the kids have been overstimulated, and now you're trying to take them to a nice restaurant, and it's like hoop-de-doo, just you can let your hair down. Like you said, they don't want you sitting down. Kids are entertained. I think it's a good value for the money. Like what you're paying for, it's a good value for the money.
Oh, yeah.
It's unlimited to a point. Beer and sangria too, which is nice. That's included.
Oh, right. And I'm surprised
Yeah.
none of us mentioned Topolino's. That just popped into my head.
Yeah,
Surprised none
Jerry
of
and
us
I were
mentioned that.
emailing about Topolino's before. It's a beautiful ambiance. I went summer 2021 when it was you can order as many entrees as you want. And again, another hot topic of discussion, you can only order one entree. I think that changes things significantly when you go from essentially, I don't want to say all you care to enjoy because it's not a buffet, but they would willingly bring you one of each entree if you wanted. And now it's a lot more strict. I think that's a big jump. Jerry, what are your thoughts?
Well, the view is amazing. The patio is amazing. The food is amazing. So there's a lot of things. That's another one though that is very difficult to get into. So
Yeah, I hear the character breakfast is amazing. I talked to a friend of mine who actually Treasures Untold, Dan and Nicole. He recently went for the breakfast, and he said the food was great. The character interactions was off the chart, so it was a great experience. But yeah, it can be. I guess I don't know. I don't want to say disappointing if you can only eat one plate, and if you're going to pay that much, you should be able to enjoy yourself and not be limited to one plate. I mean, I think
so maybe go for the breakfast. That's right.
Well, I don't mind that it's just one entree. I just felt it was such a big jump from all of a sudden we'll give you everything you want to, it was not a soft transition to that. And I think a lot
There
of
was no step down, essentially, right? There was no step down. It was just we're going from one end of the spectrum to the other.
And you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no lounge there. I mean, is there a small bar where you can grab a drink, but it's not like
the pool bar. The pool bar.
No,
Yeah.
so
in Topolino's though there's not,
You've
right?
got a little bit of a bar lounge. It's not great for kids. I mean, you're kind of like stuck on the side. You walk in, you kind of hook a right, and there's like the bar and then like a table. It's a high top table, so the kids are not comfortably going to sit down because it's not a lower seat. So you're right. It's not really a place. I mean, to hang, it's not a great ambiance for kids if you're going to go for dinner.
And if you're going earlier, that's what when I stayed there, what I ran into was we were going out somewhere else for dinner, and we were trying to find somewhere to have like an appetizer and something to drink. And I went, I went to the front desk and I was asking, and they're like, well, Topolino's isn't open yet. You can go to the pool bar. And no offense, but like I'm really dressed up to go out, and we're sitting next to a 5-year-old who has a swimsuit on, who's soaking wet and like playing Marco Polo, which is fantastic. Good for that 5-year-old. But it wasn't the ambiance that I think
vibe.
they really. No, side subject, but for another time. But I think they missed the mark on having a nice, quiet. They have the really nice library where you can get the coffee and the pastry and take it in there. But there's not really any kind of bar that's not the pool bar or Topolino's. And if you're at that in between time, or like Jerry said, it's packed. I think they sort of missed the mark on that for such a large property. I think they kind of, that's something that they should reconsider.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I think that was a huge miss. I love the library, like you said. I think it's a great spot to have coffee, hang out. I've worked remotely from there. But to me, that was a huge miss. Like I think of Steakhouse 71 downstairs, like that ambiance, like kind of feels like Riviera a bit. But I don't know. Like, I would love to go up to that patio, like you said, Jamie, upstairs and like have a cocktail, hang out, maybe have a small plate like at Coronado Springs up there. But I don't know. Maybe one day.
Listen up, Disney. We're giving you free ideas here.
and Bar Riva is good. I mean, Dan's posting that in a question on the or in the comments, and I did meet him there. It is a good little restaurant bar. There are kids swimming close by, but it's again, it's not fancy, but it is a nice little spot to go and chill, I guess, beforehand. I do think if they put something in that library, not that every place has to have a bar, but if they did have a little cocktail and small eats in there or something that they could deliver in there, that would be a great little spot. That library at Riviera is kind of, it's so quiet, it's so nice, it's private,
beautiful, and it's underused. And I think they could put a bar with just maybe some wine, and you don't have to have every kind of cocktail, but maybe just a couple of options, and then
need
it
some
would be
cheese in the Riviera. We are here in France.
Exactly.
Honestly, I could see them doing.
French.
I'm sorry, there was a lag.
I'm
see
sorry,
them doing. No, I think you need to keep the accent.
Yeah.
I don't know what resorts they do this at, but I know they do it at Coronado, which obviously isn't a DVC resort, but like a wine tasting or like a mixology class. I could totally see them doing that in the library.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be nice.
So sidebar, sorry about that. We'll get into that on another. I love Riviera.
Les fromage. I see it, John. I love it. Yeah. I love the cheese.
Yeah.
He does only pull that out for special occasions. You're absolutely correct.
All right, I'm going to toggle to our next question here. I love the food conversation. I think we definitely could have a chat simply about food for sure.
A whole show, absolutely.
Yes. So a question we got, how are use years determined for DVC contracts?
Jamie?
I'm going to take that there. So a use year is nothing other than an anniversary date for your points. So basically, every owner has a month that's associated with their points. Every month is not represented. So there's no January, no May, no July, and no November use years. So basically, for the point of saying what is a use year, when Disney designed the program, since it's not a traditional timeshare program with weeks or units or things like that, it's points, they had to essentially differentiate that two things. One, that they're not overselling the resort, and then two, they couldn't have every member get their points on the same day. It doesn't have anything to do with booking reservations. It doesn't have anything to do with when you travel. It's simply an anniversary date for your points. Your points renew on the 1st of that month. So if you have a March use year, your points renew March 1. There's a banking date associated with every use year. So essentially, if you're going to carry your points forward to the next year, there's a certain date that you have to do that by based on what use year you have. So there's a lot of, I think, confusion around use year, even with people that are current owners. I can't tell you how many times someone said to me, well, I have a December use year and I want to go in November. That's 11 months. Well, the 11-month booking priority has nothing to do with use year. It's simply 11 months from the day that you want to check into that resort. That's the furthest in advance you can book. And then 7 months or less, you can book at any other resort that has availability. So the use year really is nothing more than an anniversary date for your points, and then for a banking date for when your points need to be banked forward. That's really all it is. You can't choose your use year. They're predetermined. Disney sold the properties deeded with their use year. If you
you can on resale, you can pick whatever use year you want. So you can buy any use year on the secondary market. On direct, they only have certain use years that they're going to sell. And one thing you didn't mention about use years is it has to do with deeding. The sections of the building are, and now granted, you never stay in the unit or the section or whatever that you're buying. It's just for deeding purposes. So they do not oversell the property. So section this A, again, irrelevant, but it's a it's a June use year, and they have so many units that they're going to sell out of that before they know they no longer have that particular use year left. And then they move on to an August use year, and then they sell out of that one. And then it has a lot to do with deeding, has nothing to do with when you book a reservation. And Jamie was saying that, and I didn't mean to, I guess I did mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry for that, but
you're good.
But you can book anytime you'd like. Your use year means zero when it comes to booking. If you want to book 2 weeks from now, use year is irrelevant. You can, as long as you have the points available, you can use the current, you can borrow, you can do whatever to go 2 weeks from now. If you want to go 2 months from now, 7 months from now, doesn't matter. Any resort would be available to you. You can use, doesn't matter what use year you have. As long as you have the points or you can borrow the points, you can do it. If you want to go 11 months from now, it doesn't matter what use year you have. You can go 11 months as long as you have the points at your home resort to book that 11-month window. So use year means zero when it comes to booking. And it's just for inventory reasons that Disney created it, and for banking reasons, so you know when to bank your points. If the reason they do it also is if everybody had the same use year, everybody got their points the same day, everybody would call or clog the system to bank their points the same day. So they would wait till the last minute, and then the system would crash and it would be a disaster. So what they do is they space it out. They created this concept. Okay, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to sell it for deeded purposes. We're going to space it out. Everybody then can bank their points at different times so it doesn't clog the system. So that's how I was taught. That's what I know of use year. So hey, I jumped in. Take it back, Jamie.
You're fine. I would just say don't focus too much on, so a lot of people get really hung up on use year. The only time, and the only thing I would add to what Jerry said is I think we covered most all of the question, but the only thing I would add is if you're already a current member, there is a benefit to keeping the same use year. I think we're going to get into that in a little bit. But really don't focus too much on use year. It has absolutely nothing to do with when you travel, when you make your reservation. It was an inventorying procedure for Disney. It was designed for Disney to be able to handle the workload. And that's really all it is. It does not affect members in any other way. So don't focus too much on it.
Yes.
All right. So we have a question here from Monique. She sent this in to us on Instagram, wondering what she should consider when choosing a resale contract. And essentially, what are the advantages and disadvantages of purchasing resale contracts at different resorts and different use years? And I think, Jamie, you already kind of touched on this. Feel free to elaborate a bit more to get Monique an answer here.
So I'll let Jerry take the first part of it, the different contracts and resorts. I'll kind of touch on the use year because that's a whole different conversation. So the purchasing different resorts, I'm sure Jerry can offer insight on that.
Yeah, so if you purchase different resorts, you have again, the 11-month booking priority at the resort you own. So it gives you an advantage over people who don't own that property. You can book up to 11 months, whereas other people who don't own that property can book up to 7 months in advance for that resort. So the advantage is you have a longer booking window. Now, what's the advantage of having two? Well, let's say you have 150 at Boardwalk and 150 at Grand Floridian. You have 300 points. You can book at 7 months in advance anywhere you'd like, any resort. Because you're at the 7-month booking window, any resort's going to be available to you. But if you're going to book more than 7 months out, the only resort you'd be able to book at is your home resort with that number of points you own there. So if you own Boardwalk, even though you have 300, 150 are not Boardwalk. So you have to use your Boardwalk points for that 11-month booking, and they'll deduct from the 150 that you own there. But if you wanted to use your 11-month window at Grand Floridian, you could do that, but you'd be splitting your stay. You'd have Grand Floridian reservation over here, Boardwalk over here. At the 7-month window, you can call Disney back or go online and modify the reservation and then have everything at the same resort if that availability is there. But you just can't book, if you buy 2 home resorts, you don't get a combination of all points in 11 months at both resorts. It's only the number of points you own at that property is what you can use for the 11-month window at that property. I hope that makes sense.
And to add to that, to add a little trick of the trade to what Jerry just said, what a lot of people do that own 150 at Boardwalk and 150 at Grand Floridian is they alternate years. So you bank your points, you bank your points from Boardwalk, and you have 300 points within Boardwalk because you banked those points. Bank your Grand Floridian, and then every other year you have 300 points to use. So that's sort of a way to get around that. I only have 150 is you can bank and borrow in that given contract. And you can actually have, if you alternate years, you can have a larger vacation every other year at those resorts.
That's why I just showed my flip flop. It was because you can flip flop.
Flip-flop.
1 year you're using, yeah, you flop. 1 year you're 300 points at Boardwalk because you bank and borrow, or you bank and use current, and then you flop. The next year you save the Boardwalk points and or whatever resort it is, you use the other location, you bank or you borrow, and that way every other year you're flipping and flopping kind of back and forth. I hope it makes sense.
Yep. So not to get, because use here can be, again, its whole own subject, and not to get too convoluted or too deep with this, especially if you're just getting into DVC, you don't need to focus too much on it. But I'm going to answer the specific question that Monique asked, because this is the other side of that coin and it is important. So her question is, I've seen some appealing resale contracts become available with different use years than mine. So basically, what would be the reason not to do that? So this, again, has varying opinion. I think Jerry and I are on the same page. I think most associates at the timeshare store are on the same page. You want to keep your same use year. That's the easy answer, Monique. You want to, even if you see the most appealing contract, wait for your use year. It doesn't need to be the same resort. You could do the flip-flop, like Jerry said. It just needs to be the same use year. And here's the reason why. When Disney invented the system originally, it hasn't, unfortunately, it's still a little bit antiquated on the technology side of DVC and booking reservations. Just because Monique is on a Boardwalk 150 points with an August use year, and Monique's also on a Grand Floridian 150 points with a June use year, Disney doesn't necessarily recognize that Monique is the same person when she's making reservations. And the reason being is it all relates to keeping the same use year. So if you keep the same use year, again, it doesn't have to be the same resort. There's a lot of misnomers about that. It does not need to be the same resort. It just needs to be the same use year and the same names on the deed, which we can look up your deed for you and help you match that up. Then the points all merge under the same membership number. They're different contracts with different ending extensions. When you log into your DVC account, you'll see Boardwalk 150, Grand Floridian 150. Nothing changes about the booking windows that Jerry described, the 7 months or the 11 months. It's simply that all those points are a pool under 7 months. So if Monique has a June use year and an August use year, and she's trying to pool points under 7 months, and again, without getting really convoluted, it's not easy to do. The points really don't talk to each other. So you either have to book, if you're booking 7 nights, you book 4 out of one contract, 3 out of another, you link them together, but that's still not foolproof. You still may have to go down to the reservation desk and check in and check out because they're viewed as 2 separate reservations. There's a transfer option where one time per use year, you can move points from one membership to another. But again, those points don't show online. It's a very antiquated system. You have to call every time you want to use them. You have 2 banking dates. So can you own 2 use years? Absolutely. Would we suggest it? No, not really. It's going to make your life so much easier if you just keep the same use year.
Yeah, I do own 2 different use years. I don't recommend it. And again, I'm do this for a career. I do this for a living. So you have to manage 2 banking dates. You have to manage 2 accounts. You have to know how many points are in each one. If you're going to book a reservation, you're booking 2 separate reservations. I'm basically reiterating what Jamie just said. You can do it. I'm an example of it, but it is not. To keep your life simple and to make your membership as easy as possible to use, it is best to keep the same use year. It just makes your life easier. And at the end of the day, nobody wants complicated. It's easy. Keep it easy. So, yeah.
And Monique, just hang in there. You know, the right one, just focus on the use year, and the right one will come up. It may take some time. It may not. But I always tell people, for the time you waited to get the right use year, it's going to save, like in the long haul, it's going to save you so much time and energy planning your vacations if you just keep it seamless. So,
and frustration,
again, without getting, exactly. And not, this has happened enough times that I think I can say this without it being a 1-time or 2-time event. In my 21 years, Jerry can probably vouch for this as well. I can't tell you how many people have come to us and sold their second use year, paid a commission to us, and rebought simply because they said it's just too much to manage. So unless Disney really overhauls the system, which again hasn't happened in since 91, I don't think they have an antiquated system for this. I don't think they ever knew what it was going to become. And unless they overhaul the system, which I don't expect to happen, just wait for the right use year. You'll thank us later because it'll just make your life so much easier.
Yes.
So Lenny had asked, with the knowledge of, there's really no trading of contracts here, but to your point, Jamie, of he wants to, kind of get something different that better suits his needs, actually falls perfectly into the conversation you were just having. What is the best approach to essentially trading in a resale contract? What's the best way to do this if you want something a little better, to have a better use year? Should I find that perfect contract first, put the offer in, or list it so that you have the money first?
The easy answer, I think, is that's a personal decision. We can guide you on both, and I've definitely have guided people on both. I've done the numbers on both. Some people find the right contract first and they say, I'm just going to close on it. I'll figure, I'll sort the money out after I sell my property. I've had other people sell their property, and then once we get through right of first refusal, they rebuy. And then I've had some people that wait till the property closes, hold the funds in escrow, and then start looking. So it's really, there's no right way to do it. And I'm sure Jerry can add to this. I think it's really just personal preference and what is going to work for you from a financial standpoint and a timing standpoint.
Yeah, I couldn't have said that better. That's totally true. That's exactly right. I would have said it worse, actually. So good job, Jamie.
Well, you did bring up the flip-flop, so you've got me on that one. So yeah, it's really a personal preference, Lenny. But again, we'll walk you through we'll go through all the scenarios and then figure out what's best for you.
So Graham had asked us, can you provide more details on the DVC rental process for beginners? How does it work? Is there only one database for availability? And does it depend on the rental company? So Jerry, would you mind going ahead to share your screen as we break this down? Jamie is all things rental. So Jamie, how would you help Graham out with this as a beginner to the rental process?
So basically, I'll start with the easy question first. Does it depend on the rental company? It does not. So basically, Jerry's going to bring up a screen share here shortly. When you are a member, you log into a set portal, essentially. And that every member is logging into that exact same portal. Every rental company is logging into that exact same portal. So the availability that Jerry sees is the availability that I see, is the availability that Lauren sees. Obviously, availability changes hour to hour, day to day. However, if we all log in at the exact same time, we're all going to see the exact same availability. So you're not going to get a different availability from one company to the next. So the easy answer to that is everyone's going to be looking at the same information as the overall picture. As far as how it works for a reservation.
So I can show you that. So, yeah. Unless you have something
Perfect.
to say, and then let me know, Jamie, when you want me to share my screen. Okay. So like if somebody's interested in doing a Disney vacation, they would send us like a request for anything. And like Jamie said, everybody's using the same database. It's Disney Vacation Club's database. So I just logged into my account, and this is basically what you're going to log into as well. If you're a DVC member, that's what you're going to see. If we're checking availability for you, this is what we're looking at. So in your request, you're going to tell us how many children, how many adults, whatever, if there's any infants. And then this is the calendar that essentially we're working off of every day of the week or every day of the or month of the year. And then we can plug in the dates that you request. So let's say, for example, I'm going to look, I guess this is mid-October. I'm just going to pick these dates because it's right in front of me. My birthday is this week, so let's just go with that. So that particular week, I'm going to pick a studio size accommodation, maybe a 1-bedroom, so that way we can take a look at what's available. As far as this is the resort, but we can pick them all. So if we're going to look at resorts, we're looking at all different. These are the 14 different Disney Vacation Club resorts. Actually, there's more here. There's, I believe, 17. And then if we're going to do like a Lonnie or Hilton Head or Vero, these are other options that we can check. So let's just check the availability. So once you do that, oh my gosh. it is saying
There's the door. There's the dwarves, Lauren.
We
There
called
they
it. I
are.
think I jinxed it. I
Womp.
said, "Are we going to see the dwarves tonight? Are they going to make an appearance?"
Oh my! Can you
Yes.
believe that?
They
That is
must be
crazy. That
updates,
is somewhat
but it's
rare,
nighttime.
but definitely ironic. Let me just try one more time to see if that
Sometimes
happens.
if you try again, it'll.
That is funny. But let's just try that real quick.
I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, that's so funny. So all right, I'm gonna check one more time, and this time I'm just gonna go quick.
And if it comes up, everybody just realize that we're just now at the 7-month window. So if you're seeing lots of availability for October, it might, that's October's food and wine. So we're right at the 7-month window.
Come on, here we go.
They're working hard.
There we
go.
All right, so everybody's working off of this availability. So I put in every resort. The Boardwalk's going to pop up because that's my home resort. And if I'm looking, 1-bedroom garden view, it's got 4 nights. It's 107 points. If you're renting from us, we charge $20 a point. So we're multiplying 107 times 20 to come up with that price that you're going to, for the reservation. But furthermore, when you click on this, it tells you the availability. So everything here in dark blue is what's available. The light blue or gray, I guess, is not. So if we wanted to do a different date, we just click on the date. It tells us the number of points. We can click that and book it. But the point is, it's so easy to book a reservation. It calculates out what it is, gives you the dates. We're looking in this case at a 1-bedroom garden pool view. But let's just say, we don't want that. We want a deluxe studio. Now, right now, it's not available, but we click on it. Okay, so availability spotty, but if I go here, still spotty. Okay, a popular time. Let's keep going. Let's go. Oh, you know what? Actually, that's a standard, so that's going to be a little. But anyway, these are the dates that we're looking at. So we can check availability throughout the entire year, so to speak. And granted, Boardwalk is a very, very popular resort. So if I check, Saratoga Springs, it's available throughout the entire, dates that I plugged in. If I'm looking at Key West, if I'm going to Animal Kingdom, everything's available, for these dates. So we're using the same database that all DVC members are using, that, if you want to book something, that's how it's booked, is through the DVC member website. And if you're a member or you want to become a member, obviously if you're a member, this, but if you want to become a member, it's so easy to book a reservation because you can check what is available in any size room, in any size, and any dates at any resort. And then if you're within the 7-month window, say, hey, let's go to Disney. This is available. Let's book it. Let's go. So if you have the points, you can make it happen. If you're obviously a member, that. If you're renting, we just have to check it for you. So anyway, that's how the DVC member portal works. You can check everything, and it is super easy to book stuff. So I hope that helps. I hope it makes it clear. It makes a little more sense. So there you go. Anybody have questions on that?
Just as an FYI, you're not going to be doing this back end stuff that Jerry is showing you. We're going to be doing it. That's just a peek into the member portal, in case anyone that is a member, isn't a member yet, but
behind the curtain.
Exactly. We're letting you get that sneak peek. But if you're checking availability from a rental perspective, you're simply sending us an email, and we're doing all this back end work that Jerry's showing you. Then we're coming back to you and saying, okay, this is actually what we have, or here's the alternative. If that's not, like Jerry showed you, Boardwalk's not available, but Animal Kingdom, Saratoga, Old Key West, we're going to give you those options. So if you're renting from us, you're not going to see the back end portal, but that's how we're going through the process of it.
Yeah, and I was really glad that you showed that, Jerry. Just really quick to interject, because if you are at all familiar with booking like a cash reservation through DisneyWorld.com, what a headache. It is. If you say, hey, I want to go July 1st to the 7th, and like on their end, 6 nights are available, but you need 7, they're not even going to show you that 6 of those 7 nights are available. It's sorry, try another search. So I feel it's really empowering as a member, like Jerry said, just to see the availability and scroll and toggle between resorts in different months. So if you do become a member, I think it's really empowering. Like, you have a lot of control over what resort you're booking. And if you don't want to do it, member services will take care of it for you. But I love seeing the member portal, and it can be kind of addicting if you're looking for certain dates.
Oh, yeah.
You can always do wait lists and all that good stuff, but I do think there is a piece of empowerment in having control over your points and simply understanding, they do the math for you. This is how many points it's going to take. So I really, really appreciate. Sometimes it's not sophisticated. I don't want to call it a sophisticated system. When the dwarves come out, hi ho, and it's broken for a minute. But I do think it's a world of a difference from booking cash to, when you are a member and you're empowered to do that.
Yeah, and being a member, you can, I mentioned it, but just changing on the fly. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you have specific dates you have to try and nail down. And there are certain ways to do that. But I mean, in terms of being a member, you have so much flexibility to see what's there and then, have a discussion. And granted, if it's far enough in advance, you don't have to make a quick decision. But sometimes those last minute reservations will pop up and you're like, oh my gosh, the beach club's available in 2 weeks or a month or whatever. Let's go. So it's great to see that you have the power to pick those dates and to grab what you want and to make those reservations. So anyway, just to pile on with what Lauren said.
And to add to the ease, Lauren, also, if you're looking at renting, when you go to our website, when you go to dvcstore.com, if you go under the rental tab, there's an amazing points calculator there. So if you're not at the stage of wanting to ask us to actually check availability, you can plug in your dates and it's going to show you every resort, every size accommodation, how many points it takes. If you can convert to what does that cost per point. So if you're not quite at the stage of asking us to check availability, you can mess around on our website and you could plan a faux vacation until you email us. And then you're going to know the price before you ever have to reach out to us. So I think the points calculator is honestly one of the best things on our website. I use it all the time. So if you're not quite at the stage of moving forward, you can give yourself an idea of what you're going to spend by just plugging in your information.
Yes, I mean, that tool, there's a lot of tools when it comes to, any sort of DVC accommodation. And I think that, I know I use the word empowerment a lot, but you can build your knowledge and understand what's going on versus disneyworld.com. It's roulette, you're like, what am I going to get here? Total craziness. Well, I think that was our last question that was submitted. Oh, this is a nice one here from Shelly. I'll let Jerry answer this one. What are some odd things you found in your resort room other than a pizza stain maybe on the couch? No, I'm just kidding.
No, they flipped the cushion. You're never gonna see
it. I've been in like hundreds of DVC. I mean, I lots of DVC rooms over the past 21 years of being a DVC member. The only thing that I can think of, and this is the cheesiest thing, but it is the truth. It's happiness. I swear to you, every time I leave that room, I'm like, this is awesome. My kids are so happy. We had a great time. We did the parks. We hung out by the pool. Like, I feel good. I feel happiness. So what's the oddest thing I guess it's not odd. It's, I guess, to be expected, but it is happiness. That's the only answer I could come up with. I couldn't find dirty laundry somewhere or something to talk about. It honestly was just being grateful and happy to have that experience with my family. Honestly, that's 100% facts.
Honestly, I wish I included a picture of what I'm about to say, but when I stayed at Boulder Ridge this summer, we were hanging out eating leftover Ohana dumplings, and I guess one had fallen on the ground, and the next morning there was this huge toad eating an Ohana dumpling. It wasn't in the room, it was outside. It was a wildlife, and we had a stray dumpling. It was, you never know what's going to happen at Wilderness Lodge. So he was
the happiest toad on the planet. He was
he left happy as well. You
what was
that?
That was amazing.
No, it was not Mr. Toad.
Don't take me back. That's my absolute.
Yes.
That's my
they did evict him, so he's found his way to Wilderness Lodge.
Yes, and I almost wasn't going to include this question to everyone who's watching and tuning in, because I've said this already about cleanliness, and something I always say to friends, family, people who go to Disney, people who don't. I always know there's a crispy, clean, fresh bed in any room I go to. I almost didn't want to include this because it felt like we were maybe going to say something about housekeeping that wasn't great, but always amazing. 10 out of 10. I always know Disney, I'm getting a clean, fresh experience, regardless if the room was renovated yesterday or 5 years ago. So I'm glad we included it. Had a little bit of a laugh. But yeah, nothing too odd on my end.
No, me
other than
either.
Mr. Toad.
Yeah.
So while we wrap up, Jamie and Jerry, I'm going to bring a few questions up to the screen that we received throughout the broadcast tonight. And again, thank you so much for everyone who's been tuning in, both on YouTube and Facebook. If you have any last minute questions, you can go ahead and leave them in the chat. We'll do our best to answer some right now. Maybe we'll do 3 or 4. And if we don't get them answered here live right now, we'll make sure that we get them answered in our Facebook group. So I'm going to just go through the comments here. John wanted to do a lightning round with you, Jerry. I'm going to ask you the questions really quick.
I'm ready.
Boardwalk versus Beach Club.
Oh, I'm going to say Boardwalk. I love the pool at Beach Club, but I've got to take Boardwalk.
Okay. Mickey Premium Bar or Mickey Sandwich?
Oh, Mickey Sandwich. Sorry.
All right. Poly or Grand Floridian?
Polly, baby.
And Skyliner versus Friendship Boat?
I gotta go Skyliner. It's awkward. It gives me nausea, but I kind of like it because you're like above the, kind of looking down. So I'll go Skyliner.
Nice. I love it, John. Thank you so much for your suggestion there. I'm going to see if I can find the next question. Bear with me. We had a lot of chat about the restaurants. You guys are making me hungry. Dan, let us know. Did you get down to Geyser Point? Dan had said that he is currently at Wilderness Lodge. Let us know. Are you hanging out there right now? Dustin said, hello, question please. Are there annual pass discounts for DVC resale members or must you buy direct for a discount?
You must buy direct for the annual pass discount, or to get the annual pass discount. So you have to have 150 points direct in order to get the annual pass discount. However, I will say if you buy an annual pass, not at the discount, but if you buy an annual pass, you will start getting discounts across property for merchandise, for dining, for different things. So, DVC members, if you buy direct 150 points, you have incidental benefits, some certain perks. Resale, you don't. But if you do buy an annual pass, you will get some of those incidental benefits, but they're not the Disney Vacation Club version. It's the annual pass version. So unfortunately, no, you have to buy direct to get the annual pass discount.
Got it. Annie asks, I bought Vero Beach for, I don't know this acronym, SAP?
I don't know what that is, SAP.
But my favorite resort is Saratoga Springs. Do you think there will ever be a point where Saratoga Springs isn't available at 7 months?
There are certain times that it is going to be tough at 7 months. There's the race events where they have, like the marathons. They do certain things where even Saratoga is going to be tough to get. But on the whole, Saratoga is always going to be the easiest available reservation. It's the largest resort. Its location is not right next to the theme park, so it's gonna typically always be the easiest. But at 7 months, you should always be able to get in, but there's still gonna be a couple times you might have to do a 1-bedroom or a little bit larger size in order to get the room. But yeah, you should be able to get Saratoga 7 months or less, no problem.
Okay.
There's the acronym. Did you see it? Sleep around points.
What? Oh,
sleep around points. It popped up.
Yeah,
sleep around points.
The
only thing you might have trouble
before.
with that, to add to Jerry, the only accommodation, in my opinion, you would have trouble with at 7 months is the treehouse villas.
Yeah, treehouse is
so
tough.
That falls under the Saratoga.
I think of treehouses as like an entirely separpt resort, even though it is under the Saratoga umbrella. I just, for some reason, it doesn't connect. It's so unique and so different, and it's glamping, so it's a little different. But yeah,
it's one of my favorite accommodations. I've stayed there 2 or 3 times. It's amazing. But yeah, if you are going for something like that, kind of like if you own a Vero, the cottages, it's going to be similar to the idea of getting the beach cottage. So more points, not as many, harder to get. So
if
but that's
anyone
the only
has,
one I'd say.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, as I say, that's the only accommodation I would think you would regularly run into an issue. Otherwise, going to be, for the most part, you're going to get Saratoga at 7 months. Maybe not standard, but you should be able to get it most times, short of, like he said, race week or other large events that affect the whole of the resorts.
I was going to say.
Debbie asks, how long does it take for a contract to typically close?
So that will vary based on Disney and also based on the buyer and the seller, processing, signing the agreement, getting everything moving forward. But generally, 30 to 45 days is kind of where we're hitting right now. The dates are right around that 30 to 45 days. There's been times where we quote 6 to 8 weeks. So, right now we're saying 4 to 6. It could be 6 to 8. There was times in the past where it was up to 12 weeks. So it really depends on right of first refusal. So Disney has that option where they can buy back the contract. Their review time will vary. Usually we say within 30 days. Right now we're right 14 to 21 days is pretty much the right of first refusal window. So if things move the way they're currently moving, should close within 30 to 45 days. Things do move pretty quickly once Disney waives right of first refusal.
And to add to that, to Debbie's question, closing is not you having the points. So closing is the first step of a two-step process. Once the closing actually occurs, it then goes back to Disney, similar to right of first refusal, for them to transfer the property into their system. They, again, antiquated. They manually add the points. The points are added by different departments, and whoever transfers the ownership, the points are added year to year to year. So they're not all added on the same day. So if you're a new member, you could be looking up to 45 days. Usually doesn't take that long, but keep in mind, closing is the first stage of a two-step process. So to be recognized in Disney system is a different timeline.
Yeah, and we quote 21 days, but really it's closer to 14, at least right now. Again, timelines change, but you figure a month to 45 days to close, 2 weeks later, you should be in the system, 3 weeks later at the worst in the current timeline. So you figure at 8 weeks, you should be good to go, or just around that time, right? About 2 months.
All right, so I think we have time for one last question. Actually, two. One is really quick answer. The new construction at the Polynesian, will it be one community? We've done yes from
all sources point to
information.
Yes. Yeah, they're all saying
Shaq's
yes.
Magic 8 Ball. It's not 100%, but
yeah,
all sources are pointing to yes.
I would say 99.9% yes. I mean, there was the annual meeting at for the Disney Vacation Club. They have it every year, and somebody was one of the board of director persons was asked that specific question. They said yes. They didn't retract the statement. They didn't make any claims that it wasn't after the fact. So it seems like yes. So I have a couple friends that work for Disney that are in the know, and they aren't saying that it's a separate association either. They're not saying it is. They're not committing to it, but they're not saying no. So, I think 99.99999% yes, it will be part of the same.
Great. Question from Jennifer here. Do you think more contracts will flood the market of people buying Fort Wilderness cabins or new Poly Tower? Thoughts on so many resorts being sold at once? Is it good or bad for resale?
So Fort Wilderness Cabins is not having the launch that they had hoped for. Disney's surprisingly not selling as many as they expected. The maintenance fees on that resort are very high, so it's caused a little bit of, I don't want to say backlash, but a little hesitation from buyers looking to jump in. They're $12 and I think 15 cents a point. So that's a high annual cost. It's the second highest annual dues cost. So I think that's keeping buyers from jumping on that one. The Poly Tower might certainly trigger a lot of activity through resale. People may just add on. If it's a home run for them, I mean, then very well maybe people will sell their contract to buy into the Poly Tower. So that's a great question. We'll know more about that. Expected pre-sales probably the summer for Poly Tower. So it's coming quick. It'll probably be 2 to 3 months out. And then, grand opening probably the end of the year, right around December, November, whatever. That's when it'll probably open. So they're moving fast. I go past that resort almost daily. I was there yesterday. I saw the resort yesterday. It's still roped off, but the resort is developing quickly. So it's exciting, and we'll see what happens with if people dump their points or if they just add on, they just buy more. A lot of people buy more. They love it, so they end up saying, "Oh, I need a few more," and so they end up buying more.
So, but to add to that, if we're going to go back to past, we don't obviously know what's going to happen, but if we look at past, Jerry and I have been a part of a lot of different resorts opening. You're going to see, you're typically going to see an uptick in people listing a property that they currently own to buy a new property. Is it going to be flooded? No, I wouldn't use the term flooded. You're definitely going to see more contracts than average come on the market when a new resort opens, but it's not going to increase our inventory overall by a huge percentage, or it has not for every other opening. It's definitely, you wouldn't notice it from the outside. I don't think we notice it, but it's, again, not enough to call it flooded, or it has not been in the past.
Yeah. But like every 10th call might be somebody saying, well, I'm thinking about buying into the new resort, but it's not, and they're thinking about it. It's not a commitment. So it's not a lot. So no, I would not, I agree.
It hasn't been in the past.
No.
And I mean, from a marketing perspective, even though I work in social media marketing, and I don't think anybody could crack the Meta Business Suite or Facebook ads code, but I've seen a huge amount of Facebook and Instagram ads for the Fort Wilderness cabins. And I know I am in that niche that, like, I'm being targeted for that. But Jerry, I mean, before you even said that maybe it's not doing as well as anticipated, I, as a consumer and a member, have seen that. Like, they're really heavily promoting the cabins, as they should. But I'm seeing ads left and right, Chippendale at the sing-along, and even showing Hoop-de-Doo a bit. So I do see a huge marketing push from them.
So I got a theory on this, and it's totally kind of my imagination just running wild. Reflections was a resort that's been scrapped twice. They have the property pretty much ready to go. They have the plumbing and so forth, and they've scrapped it twice. I think when Reflections, if ever Reflections is built and it incorporates some of that Fort Wilderness property, now you've got a resort that's got restaurants, you've got just luxury pool, like all these wonderful amenities that are right there, instead of the Fort Wilderness just being kind of secluded in its own. I love Fort Wilderness. I think it's a beautiful property, but when they put Reflections in there, if they do, I definitely think the Fort Wilderness cabins will have a huge appeal to a lot more people, because now they've got resort amenities that are right next to their cabin. So yeah, I think that might be the future. We'll see. It's totally a guess, totally my imagination.
No, I agree. And I mean, I have cousins who I think are tuning into this live broadcast. They're a party of 5. Those cabins would be amazing for them. Like, perfect layout. It's got the full kitchen, and it'd be the perfect setup from a studio. Like changing from a studio to stay there, but it's not like a deluxe resort. It's there are pieces that, like you said, if Reflections would be there, it would really bring people in. So we'll see. I love Fort Wilderness. I love it. I know we all gushed over it tonight.
Yeah.
Justice for Trails End.
I wanted to touch really quick on the end of her question. Honestly, the amount of resorts being sold right now by Disney is not a lot. I mean, there's been times when they had Alani, and there was 4, I think at the height, there was 4 resorts through them being sold. So to have right now, what it's really, maybe perception wise to a consumer, it's a lot, but this is very calculated. Like, what they're doing right now is very calculated. Disneyland has been out for some time. They're slowly going into this. So it's really not a lot for them at one time.
Right. And it's not again, having extra inventory for them is beneficial. That gives them, more sales. I know they have more upkeep, but they can rent those rooms until those rooms are sold through DVC. So it's not a problem for them to have multiple resorts to sell from. It gives them more options. The salespeople have more to offer. They're, hey, we've got this or we've got that. So, and I think that's why Rider First Refusal was so crazy a couple years ago. They had nothing to sell, so they started buying everything back. So they had more options to sell. So again, I don't want to get in the weeds on too much, but anyway, the point is having extra inventory for Disney, never a problem. That's a
not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it for questions this evening. I'm going to pull up a few quick compliments as we wrap up. Larry said, "Hey, Jerry, you have certainly been a big help to us." Monica let us know she just purchased Grand Floridian with Jamie and Scott. They are the best. Congratulations,
thank you,
Monica.
Yes, thank you, Larry.
Jamie, compliments on your background there.
Thank you. I'm there right now. It's very quiet.
Yes, that purple wall is just so serene.
It came out on my phone. It looks much better on here than I thought it was going to off my phone. But yeah, I caught it right at the right moment.
Awesome. Well, I think that wraps everything up for tonight. We answered a lot of questions. If you guys still have any lingering, please make sure to join our Facebook group and ask those questions there. We'll make sure to get them answered. Oh, one last compliment, Jerry. Nice French accent. So I think you need
Merci
to. I think
beaucoup,
you need
Monsieur
to.
Scott.
Sorry, I was talking over you. Say it again.
Oh, I just said merci beaucoup, Monsieur Scott. That is, thank you very much, Scott. Appreciate it.
Oh, that's the sign off for this evening. I love it. Well, it was great chatting with you guys. As always, you can contact our team at dvcstore.com. You can follow us on social media at the DVC Store on Instagram. If you're here on Facebook, you've already found our Facebook page. And if you're on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe so that you get updates on our next live broadcasts. And make sure to give us any feedback that you might have. We're totally open to it. And let us know if there's any topics that you might want to see in the future. So thank you guys.
And we thank everybody for being here. Thank you so much. It's been a great time. We'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
All right. Good night, everybody. Bye.
Good night.